Good morning. I just wanted to do a little recap of what we have covered thus far over the last couple of classes. So we've been talking about atoms, which are the fundamental unit of matter, and we've been looking at their structure, and that there are 3 subatomic particles that make up the structure of the atom. We look at the protons, which hold a positive charge and are found in the center or nucleus of the atom. The neutrons, which have no charge, they are neutral, and are also found in the center of the atom. We talked about that these 2 subatomic particles make up the atomic mass of the atom as well. And of course the 3rd subatomic particle is the electron, which is a negatively charged particle that orbits sort of around the nucleus. We did talk about the fact that an atom is considered neutral. This is because our positive protons will equal the negative electrons that surround the nucleus. So when we're talking about an atom, we're talking about it being electrically neutral. Okay. Elements that you can find on the periodic table of elements are all the same type of atom, and they're identified by the number of protons, and we call the number of their protons their atomic number. And we're going to be looking a little bit at the periodic table and how it is arranged and what kind of information you can find about an element and the type of atom that makes it up. We also looked a little bit yesterday at ions. Now, ions are just charged atoms. That means their number of protons do not equal their number of electrons. And you can have a couple of different types of ions. You can have positive ions, which we call cations. And I think of this like, cats always land on their feet, and that's pretty positive. That's how I remember that. And this means that our number of protons are greater than the number of electrons. Very important to understand that the number of protons does not change for a specific type of atom. It is only the electrons that can be added or removed to create an ion. Okay? We did talk a little bit about, and I skipped over this just a second ago, in order to figure out the charge of an ion, you simply take the number of protons and subtract the number of electrons, and that should give you a charge. Now, if you didn't know the number of electrons, but you knew the charge, you should be able to work yourself backwards to figure out how many electrons we have. All right, so again, there's positive ions we call cations, which have a greater number of protons and electrons, and then we have negative ions, which we call anions, and in this case, the number of protons is less than the number of electrons. One other thing we did go over this particular week is how to represent an element, giving some information about it. So we use what we call this nuclide symbol, and this should already be in your portfolio. I hope you snapped a photo of the one we did as a class and imported it in, and it gives you some information. It gives you the mass of the element, the atomic number of the element, and whether or not it is an ion, so it would be charge. If there is no charge, then it represents an atom, which is neutral. If there is a charge, then it is representing an ion. Okay, and as we move forward, we would use the atomic mass to help us figure out if what we're looking at is also an isotope. So we're going to be getting into that soon. Okay, so we did cover how to represent elements and the most amount of information you could using a really simple symbol.